So it'll be interesting what happens there. But as we continue and we move on, Iran situation is escalating very, very quickly. Everybody's asking, is it going to happen today? Is it going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to happen this? By the way, would it be true? Would it be unlike Trump to do it while he's giving a State of the Union tomorrow night, Tuesday night? Can you imagine he's giving a speech and all of a sudden, boom, the attack takes place? And at the end he says, by the way, check your phones. Iran has officially been this. We have Khamenei. We have this. We have that. They may or may not. It's a little bit too risky, but when you're looking at what type of, did you see the B-52, which bomber was it that was flying in, Rob? There was a bomber that was flying in. I mean, they're literally sending everything over there.
I know the picture you're talking about. That's our B-2s.
The B-2 bomber that went over there. Yeah. Zoom in a little bit, Rob. Yeah, the B-2 bombers. Where did it go to, though? When it went to somewhere in the Middle East that it was seen. So at any point, anything could happen there. Let me go to the story here, and we'll kind of read through it. Which one should we go to, Rob? What page do we have the Iran news?
That would be page 18 and 19.
Page 18 and 19. Okay, so Iran regime squares off against student protests in the streets of Tehran. Death to Khamenei. So they're now saying death to Khamenei in Iran, which is the complete opposite of death to America. The students are now wanting death to Khamenei. Go ahead, Rob, if you want to play this clip. This is Wall Street Journal reading this story with Iranian students protest as anger grows. FYI, this is kind of exactly what happened with Khomeini back in the days when Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, they were doing the same exact type of protest. And Rob, is this the one from Wall Street Journal?
It's just one of them, yes.
Okay, got it. So this leads to the Telegraph story. Trump could kill Ayatollah's son and senior mullahs to topple Iranian regime. Tom, what do you think is going to happen here?
So I think this is going to be surgical, and I think they've got it planned. They've got the buildup there, and I think Witkoff said something over the weekend. He said, you know, they're not cooperating anymore in discussions. And Witkoff also said, I really fear that they do have the enrichment capabilities. And Witkoff has never said that. I went back and looked at Witkoff. Witkoff doesn't put these little things out there like that. This is not his style. This is not the way he did it. So for him to be saying, I believe that they have the ability to enrich the uranium. We've been trying to talk to them. They're no longer talking forthrightly. So when I see that, you know, we're giving them the opportunity. Witkoff's there. Rubio is behind the scenes. We're trying to get them to do the right thing. But we want the transition. We don't want to have Crazy 2 as the sequel to Crazy 1. So I think what's about to happen here, you can't allow the enrichment, but you got to have a plan for succession. That's the issue, Pat. Those two things is what they're juggling. You got to have a plan. You got to get rid of the enrichment. You got to go after the facilities, but then you got to have a plan for succession. And if and I think they're doing everything they can to do both at once, and they're going to be pushed to the wall where I think they have to just go in and take care of the enrichment and just say, hey, don't F around. Because you look at those people, yeah, Khomeini is not polling well with the citizens there. And unfortunately, we just have polls and elections here. They'll have polls and coups. So I think it's coming. And I think it's hours away, not days away. I think it's hours.
Yeah, yesterday, Mario Nafal reported something from a different ex that was saying Iran is now coming up saying we're willing to negotiate anything and everything. You know, what is it you want? If you want to extend the, nuclear development, if you want us to do this, we're open to it. Just remove us from the sanctions. Now they're coming out saying, no, let's negotiate. Because apparently the last time when Witkoff and Kushner went there to negotiate, I don't know if you heard what happened at the end. At the end, they're like, no, we're good. They walked out.
Oh,
no,
really?
no. This is it. Out. No more negotiation. They came. They made their offer. There was discussion. They said there's nothing else to discuss. They left, which means an attack is what a lot of people think is imminent. Rob, is this a recent clip?
Yes, this was Friday. from the president.
What does he say in this clip here?
That tells the Iranian people that it's time to negotiate a fair deal.
They're not going to be doing that.
That's what he said on Air Force One.
I don't even think they want to. I don't think Trump's team wants to negotiate. I think they're done. I think they're past it. I think the whole, you know what it changes if they do negotiate with them? What quote is officially out the window? If they negotiate with them, what quote is out the window? A quote that's been used for decades. Go ahead. It's out the window.
Yeah, you're right.
If you negotiate, guess what's going to happen in 2028? I'm sorry. Weren't you guys the party that said you never negotiate with a terrorist party?
Yep.
And you did. You negotiated with them. So now what? What are you going to be doing now? So there is a report yesterday that came up, that they're willing to come up and do something with them, but apparently nothing's been happening yet. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't see this ending well for anybody. Tens of thousands of people have already died, and I expect if something happens, it could get way worse. By the way, how brave are these protesters in Iran after knowing that their brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, family, parents, kids, all tens of thousands were murdered by the regime, and then they went out and protested again? Is that what's going on here?
Yes.
Imagine that. Put yourself in these protesters' shoes. They killed all their friends, and they're coming back 2 weeks later basically saying, no, we can't stand for this. There's the most daylight in the world between the most brutal regime and the people that want freedom exists in Iran. So, number two, follow the money. How much money are we spending to have a fleet out there in the middle of the ocean in the, what sea is it? The Persian Gulf? What city is it? Okay. The Persian Gulf. How much money are we spending? If Trump doesn't do anything, we just spent billions of dollars to what? Show force? So in my opinion, something's got to give here. Last but not least, follow the money. The economy of Iran is crumbling. I mean, they're already one of the worst countries in the world when it comes to the misery index, which basically tracks what? Unemployment and inflation. The people have nothing to live for at this point. The economy's in shambles. Half the people don't want to follow this ridiculous ideological religious regime, and they're just basically saying, please come help us. Now, Trump, you've said that help is on the way. So what are you doing, President? Because in my opinion, this 88-year-old Ayatollah, dude, he'll die a martyr, no problem. The question is, who's going to come replace him?
Well,
so we'll see.
But I mean, it's easier said than done, Adam, and I think Tom made a great point, and we said it last week. Who's gonna take his spot, and who is the military going to listen to? Because those same people that we saw videos that they're driving, bro, we're not seeing a sliver of what's actually happening. What I've heard from people that have family there, Adam, they're shooting them in the streets and they're driving over them. I did see one video, I think me and Pat did, where a civilian finally was like, the hell with it, and there was IRGC running in the street, and he was running them over. So it's a very difficult situation because, okay, and look what's happening in Mexico. You take out the main guy. Then what? This is a huge thing that people are looking over. Don't get me wrong, Adam. I'm not an isolationist in the sense that if your whole thing is death to America, not death to Adam, Vinny, Florida, America, you know what that means? Everybody that's in this country, if they were dead, they'd be happy. Them's is fighting words. Okay, so if you want the smoke, you're going to get it. But when I say it's hard because you can't, Adam, think about this. Tom's the main guy. Tom's Khomeini. You take him out. We're generals, all of us. Who do you think we're going to listen to? Whoever the Israel or the United States?
Wait. Which one of you decides it's going to be number one?
That's what I was just
You two generals talk to each other. I'll be number one. I have all the forces of the South. I have the forces of the North.
Exactly that.
It's like Pat was just talking about the list of cartel people waiting to flow in. You think those guys are going to play nice with each other?
Hell no.
Every one of those wants to be the next Mencho.
I love it because you took the words out of my mouth. You don't think, Adam, you're going to be like, wait, who are you to... Who said that you're going to be in charge? No, but the U.S. said that Pat's going to be in charge.
You be dictator today. I'll be dictator tomorrow.
No, Adam, and I get it. Something needs to be done, but... I mean, ships are on the move. I saw the USS, was it Ford, Tom? Gerald Ford is in the water. We're positioning.
Can you pull this up? Can you pull up what I just texted you, please? So this is very interesting from what Mario Nafalo is reporting from Visioner. Rob, if you can pull, this is about geopolitics. If you pull up, take a look at what they're doing here with this. So 3 area refuelers all taking off from Japan, are now cruising at low refueling altitudes and doing the aviation equivalent of tiptoeing through the house at 3 a.m., avoiding every national airspace like they owe countries money. Refuelers don't do this unless they're babysitting someone important, which brings us to the 4 B-52s sitting in Guam, the flying sledgehammers of U.S. foreign policy, possibly rolling out for little unscheduled travel in the direction of Diego Garcia, America's favorite. We're not saying we're preparing for something, but we're preparing for something island, okay? So when you see all of this stuff going on, you know, it's – and Adam, to go and say that he promised he's going to do it, that's what a lot of Iranians are saying. Hey, you made the promise, you made the promise. But he never said I was going to do it on your terms. By the way, here's John Kiriakou, the CIA officer who was the whistleblower on what do you call it, waterboarding many, many years ago. He did time for that. Here's what he had to say just a few days ago on Friday. Go ahead.
I have a friend, former CIA officer, who was at the White House this morning talking to his friends, and he says that a decision has been made to attack Iran on Monday or Tuesday. The president yesterday gave the Iranians 10 days to accept our proposals for an end to their ballistic missile program, an end to their uranium enrichment program, an end to supporting groups in the Middle East like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis. But he's done this before. Well, he'll give you 10 days, he'll give you 2 weeks, and then he'll just attack 2 days into it. He thinks that keeps people off balance. And so he said that there are battle lines, that the anti-war forces are J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard. He said that
That's it?
That's it. He said the pro-war people are led by Marco Rubio and include Pete Hegseth and now the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And I stopped him on that point this morning, and I said, wait a minute. I said, during the Iraq War, at the start of the Iraq War, the most stridently anti-war component was the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They were always the last ones that wanted to attack because they know what war is. And he said, but you forget, Trump has replaced all of the Joint Chiefs this year, in the past 12 months, which I had forgotten.
Tom, what do you think about what he's saying?
Any of these four?
Well, first of all, every president is going to have his own cabinet, his own appointments. You know, everybody that's flipping out over the FCC and equal time provision forgets that, you know, Biden had his FCC person. Now Trump's got his FCC person. And it's a policy. They're implementers of policy. He's the commander-in-chief. He will appoint the Joint Chiefs that he gets along with. You have Biden, who was commander-in-chief, and he was appointing Joint Chiefs and then generals that were more interested in skirts, trans, and making the military into something else than they were in national defense. So it does not surprise me that the Joint Chiefs would think different, to his point there. And I also believe what they're saying. You know, I don't think Rubio's a war hawk. Here come the comments. Oh, you don't understand. No, I don't think he's war first, but I think he recognizes what has to be done here. And do I think the cabinet's split? Yeah, because you know what? I think Trump's got people on that cabinet that have a little tension with each other, that don't necessarily agree with people. And I think, you value that as a leader, that you get perspectives in the room. Everybody tells you you're right all the time. Then the day you're wrong and they're still telling you you're right, you're naked. So
Adam,
I hope what he's saying is has some truth to it.
Yeah, I don't know about his information or credibility. That's not what I'm worried about. Who I do trust are the Iranian people saying, Maghbad Ayatollah Khomeini. So we're all worried about who's going to be the next person up. I'm not worried about that.
Why not?
Because what are the Iranian people are asking? Are they shouting, who's the next person? That will be figured out. By the way, in Miami, I've spoken to not 10, not 50, hundreds of Venezuelans. Every single one was like, dude, I don't care what happens next. Thank God we got done with Maduro. Every single person I know that is pure-blooded, loves Iran, Persian, lives in America and all over the world, they're going to figure out who they want next. They're saying, let's get done with this guy. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to take out the figurehead, the leader, the supreme leader If he doesn't go, nothing changes. So we can debate who's next, who's the next person up. We have the convenience of doing that in our lovely studio in Fort Lauderdale. The people of Iran are calling for a change. Let's listen to them.
No, and hold on. And I agree with the listening to them and whatever, but yeah, we could be in a studio, but we have to be smart in that, Adam, if you take out that head and another guy just like him comes in, everything that those people have been fighting for.
You don't think that if they thought about that?
Well, Adam,
give our military a little bit of credit. They're not like, what?
No,
We're going to get a new leader
Adam,
in there?
they thought
Look
of
what
it.
they did in Venezuela. They basically took out the leader, Maduro, and they're like, yeah, you work for us now, homeboy.
Okay.
The president of Venezuela is Marco Rubio.
So why is this
So
one
you don't think they have something planned in
hold
Iran?
on. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying, why is it taking so long? You know why? Because I guarantee you
Why
the
is it
person that
taking
they
so
don't.
long? It's been 47 years.
No.
Why do you think it's taking so long?
No.
You think this thing happens overnight?
Stick to the point of when he said, We're help is coming and I'm going to help you. Why hasn't, because the Venezuela thing happened, brother, this has been going on for the entire administration. Why didn't he come in, Adam? Because I guarantee
Because
you,
Iran
the person, hold
versus
on, let me
Venezuela
finish.
is totally different.
Obviously, but the person
Venezuela
that they thought.
is a small puppy compared to a
Adam, you brought up
semi-vicious
Venezuela.
dog.
Let him finish, Adam. Let him finish.
Because
Oh my
you
God.
can't, Venezuela doesn't chant death to America and doesn't have all the military and everybody trying to kill us. That's a completely different situation. Venezuela was easy, small, and out. You're talking about Iran, and you're talking about people that want to kill all of us. So yeah, it's a whole different situation.
So what's your solution?
Adam, my solution is, I don't know what their solution is because they obviously
great
had a
insight.
leader. They obviously had a leader in mind. He obviously is not the guy. Trump even said about Reza Pahlavi, he's not the guy. You're not the guy.
Well,
so
what do you want
maybe-
to do with the Ayatollah Khomeini? Let's stay there.
Okay,
since you
ready
want
for
to
this,
focus on that.
Adam. Let's get him. Let's put him in jail forever. Who's taking his
Forever,
spot?
like another 6 months.
Adam, who's taking his spot? Since you know so much, and we're sitting in the studio
My point is,
in beautiful Florida.
whoever it is it going to be worse than this clown?
Says who?
How do you know?
The people shouting death to Khomeini. How about those?
Okay.
How about those people?
Adam, it's
Are
so,
you not? Hold on. Let me just be very clear. Are you not listening to the protesters and what they're asking for?
Yeah.
Are we not paying attention
You
to
mean
them?
the 40,000 that have
The 40,000
What
that
are they say-
died?
What is the two words they're saying?
Help us. We need
That's
help.
not what they're saying.
Yes, they are. They
They're
want
saying,
help.
what is Magma Khomeini?
Matikbar Khomeini, death upon Khomeini.
Okay,
Adam,
so
talk
that's
about
what they're shouting.
Yeah, one protest. You're
Now,
talking about.
I don't speak Farsi. One protest.
That was a protest.
Maybe
that we
Thank
just
God.
saw.
PBD. How many protests are shouting those two words?
A lot. It's
Okay.
So it's
That's
not
their
about,
number
it's-
one goal.
It's hundreds. They're done with that. By the way, I want to show you something here. Iranian foreign minister says U.S. deal is still quite possible. What's the date? When was February 22nd? Yesterday. Yesterday. Meaning, hey, it's still possible. Look, give us a call. Witkoff and Kushner's like, no, we're good. We're out. Then put the other one up, Rob.
You cannot
Hear the tweet
trust
I
these
sent
people.
you. Iran-U.S. talks Thursday. Iran offered to ship out half of their uranium. After years of will never stop enrichment, they're negotiating how to get rid of it. What happened? U.S. envoy Witkoff on TV. Why hasn't Iran capitulated? Iran's foreign minister, because we're Iranian. Iran also hinted they'll negotiate on Hezbollah, Hamas. Missiles still off limits. So, listen, they're gradual. You know what this is, though, Vinny? Here's where it's at. My take. Sometimes, you negotiate with somebody and you'll make an offer, they're going to say what to. No to. Because guess what you want to do?
Give him a different option.
No, you want to attack. Because you already know your mind is made up. Do you really think this entire time U.S. wanted to negotiate with Iran? Do you really believe they were convinced that you could negotiate with Iran? Do you know what would happen the moment they brokered a deal? Guess what they would do the next day? You know what highlight reel would be showing up? What do you think the highlight reel will be showing up? Of when Obama, the $150 billion Iran, and hey, all the Republicans that said, don't go negotiate with them, and look what you did, Obama. You are officially Obama. So don't criticize Obama. That's what I would do if I was on the other side. That's what I would do if I was CNN playing those clips. I'd be showing that clip the entire time. I'm convinced this entire time they've known 90% where they stand. I think the president and his team from 6 months ago to today, their position on Iran has changed 5 to 10%. Not 38% position that changed. 5 to 10%. What they end up doing here with this, what happens afterwards? Tom said it in the back and he said it again here. What happens when you take out El Mencho? What happens to Jalisco? What happens to Mexico? It's chaos. What's going to happen if you take out what do you call it? Bless you. What happens if you take out Khamenei and his sons and his people? There's only one big difference. You know what the big difference is? Here's a big difference. Massive difference. In Mexico, the difference is El Mencho and his group, CJNG, they had bought all the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Where here, it's U.S. coming in. And we're not bought by Iran. It's not like they're doing, it's the other way around where it's like, hey, you guys better do what we're doing. I think they are shivering, and the Iranian people are supporting it. In Mexico, what did Scheinbaum, the president, say? No, leave it alone. Don't come here. So I don't know.
The rule of law.
The rule of law. I think the world would be a better place with Iran toppling. Who replaces? They asked the question. Laura Trump asked the question from Witkoff. Rob, I don't know if you have that one when the name Reza Pahlavi came up, and he says this is not a Reza Pahlavi issue. Go ahead, Rob, if you want to play this clip. Go ahead.
Well, there's that pressure. There's also pressure
Audio
coming
super
from
low, so you gotta
within
raise it.
Iran from their own people. Obviously, we've seen these major protests going on within the country. The exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi, has also laid out pretty clear steps as to how a transition of power might occur over there in his eyes. Has he been part of any of this? Have you guys had any conversations with him?
Well, I've met him at the direction of the president. I actually, it's public. It's out there. I think he's strong for his country, cares about his country. But this is going to be about President Trump's policies, not Mr. Pahlavi's policies. I think the president is interested in hearing everyone's views. He has no pride of authorship, is maybe the best way for me to say it, which I greatly respect because he's open to new ideas and new ways of thinking.
To move to Europe,
There you go. So that's
So
the
what,
part.
what did he say essentially?
He's saying, look, I met with them. The president has not, but Witkoff did, and he says this is public info. But this is not a Trump issue. This is not a Pahlavi issue. This is Trump's decision on what's going to be happening. I think the way it's looking like right now, Rob, can you find out when is Venezuela's next election? When is Venezuela's next election? When is Venezuela's next election? Let's see what the date is. Is it 6 months from now, 3 months from now, 2 months from now? When is their next presidential election? Because wow, unless there's a political crisis,
2030.
the Constitution says 6 years. The last one is in 2020.
Yeah, it just happened.
Based on it. So okay, so that means. So you know what that means? If it's in 2030, who the hell is in office in 2030? Who's president in 2030? We don't know.
Yeah.
So how the hell do you control the point of contact, Tom, with that?
Well, they have one caveat. Venezuelan law allows early election if there's an absolute absence of president. Death, resignation, removal,
Extraction.
But by the way, which could trigger a new vote within 30 days. Hasn't happened. How long has it been? When was the Venezuela, when they took Maduro? What date was that? Was it December 26th? I don't know what date it was. But
this year.
Was it this year?
Was it January? When is it?
What date did they
There's
take
so
him
much
out?
that happened. I forgot that.
So they could
I'm
call
guessing
one
6
if
weeks
they
ago.
wanted, Pat. They could gather.
Who's they?
When was that?
Well, the
Rob?
the
January?
Venezuelan equivalent of Parliament and Congress. But right now, you've got
January 3rd.
January 3rd. Happy New Year, Maduro.
So it's been a month and a half. So then that means if they take out Khamenei, if they take out Pezeshkian, if they take out all the people in Iran, how quickly will you have an election to replace it? That's
Election in Iran?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question on
Yeah.
that?
Go for it.
Election in Iran seems like an oxymoron because let's look at case examples.
Right.
So what are the free democratically elected rulers or countries in the Middle East? I got one, Israel. Any other Middle Eastern countries that practice democracy? We've seen what happens when we try to implement our worldview over there. It gets real ugly. So you have three options. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have supreme leader vibes, which is this complete theological, theocratic Shiite regime, which they seem to be done with. You have king or ruler, which was the Shah, or you have democracy. In my opinion, you have to go the middle version. They're done with the Shiite ruler, and there's zero case examples that democracy will work in the Middle East. We could wish for it. We could love it. Yes, you're going to be just like America. I don't know if that's possible there. So maybe you need a temporary Shah whether it's Reza Pahlavi, whatever it is, but there's no evidence in the last 50 years that a democracy can work in the Middle East. You tell me, am I right? Am I wrong? Thoughts on this, PBD?
Well, no, the argument of people saying, let them have an election, let them choose their president. Then if you take with the position you're saying, this isn't about let it fall and let's see who takes over. The way you're thinking, if they think the way you're thinking, they already have in mind who's going to take over to lead Iran.
It's
Do you
an
understand
ugly
what I just
situation.
said?
Yeah, of
But
course.
do you understand what I'm saying?
It's a mystery wrapped
Right.
in a riddle and a quagmire. We don't know.
Do you think the administration knows what they want to do? Or do you think the administration is also saying, let's just do the job and see what happens next?
Sadly, I think there's a part that's like, guys, we don't know what.
That's
Just
horrible.
okay, of course. We learned
point.
What
when
do
we
you
went
think it
into
is, though?
Afghanistan and Iraq that we don't know Sunni, Shiite, Alawite, who's this, what's going on. Hezbollah, are they our friend? Hezbollah is now working. They're friends with these people, the proxies. It's so messy out there and it's so tribal out there. We have no clue what we're doing, but we know this one thing. Magba Ayatollah. We know that.
Vinny, go ahead.
I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think they know what happens after
I don't.
they
like,
execute their
no,
mission?
because everybody's attitude is like Adam's, which I understand. Just get rid of the bad guy that's doing all the problems of the chaos. But it doesn't work that way. It's you have to, dude. And I keep saying it. Besides the people, God bless them, they need it. The military and the people that are running everything, it's so important. You can't just plug them out. That's like somebody coming, taking Pat out, the board getting rid of Pat, and a new CEO comes in, and they're like, well, it has different ideas, different things. It doesn't work like that. Or they don't even have a CEO. Or the new CEO's going to kind of be like Pat, but he's going to have different agendas. No, bro, this is so hard. That's why I think it's taking so long, because they don't know. They don't know. I'm all for it. Khomeini, death to America, the way he treats the women, the way he treats his people, the way he kills the people, and the way the military is doing it, shame on them.
I agree with you. And we've seen this in election. You see it in free countries election. It's when the public is fed up, the voters are fed up, and all of a sudden the voters do this. Anything but this.
Yes.
And guess what? That's how Mamdani got elected in New York. Affordability, rent problems, things that are happening in New York. And the middle class and the left side of it took enough independence with them. And Mamdani gets elected on anything but this. I'll give you free buses. I'll make the buses free. I'll give you free grocery stores. I'll make this free. Because in the face of everything, and the voters do it. We saw it happen here. What the people over there are saying is, I am willing to protest. And they are brave souls right now saying, I am willing to protest even though I know what has happened to 30 to 40,000 of my countrymen. I am going out in the streets. I am going to go here. And we want you to cut the head off the snake. We want anything but this. And that's what you're seeing. And I think if there was a clear path, we already would have intervened. The nuclear part of it is forcing our hand to move faster. And I agree with Pat. I don't think we've changed what we thought. We said, look, we're going to try and do this. We're going to try and talk to these guys. Are going to do it, but they're not going to do it. Yep. Ultimately, we're going to have to push them. And when the nuclear capability gets too close, you know what we got to do? We got to cut the head off the snake. And I think that's right where we are.
And think about it. You're talking about nuclear capabilities. You take out Khomeini, Adam. Who's running their nuclear program? The leaders are
we'll
like,
give you half the uranium.
Let
We'll
me
give
just
you
be
half
clear.
of it.
Let me just be clear. You're kind of saying just keep Khomeini there.
I did not say that
until
at all.
we figure out a better option.
No.
So I'm trying to understand your point.
You have to have a plan in place before you take out a country's number one guy. Or else nothing's gonna change. You know what the difference is between us and them? Biden and his administration crapped on this country and tried to destroy us. Guess what we got to do? We got to go to the voting booth, and he won in an insane fashion. He won all the swing states. He won the popular vote. He won everything. They don't have that opportunity. They don't get to go vote. It's who's in charge and who's in charge. What I'm saying is, Adam, he needs to go. Yes. Why it's taking so long? They don't have the guy. They don't have the plan. And I'm pretty sure outside forces are like, just take him out already. Just kill him. You can't do that without a backup plan.
I just have one last question. I know Pat wants more. When you say taking so long, Trump's been in power for a year.
Yeah.
Okay, and this has been ongoing for how long, Pat? 47 years? Listen, if it was easy, we would do it already. Okay. This is a very hard thing to do.
Exactly.
Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people will die. So I'm actually gracious and grateful that they're actually taking their time and not going in like idiots like George W. Bush did in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I agree.
For the last 7 or 8 days, we've been at the Magic Show in Las Vegas, and we're currently at Italy at the Micam Show, the Milan Show, the show that everybody shows up, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes, everybody. And you know who was there this year? Future Looks Bright shoes. There. We sent Pete, Leo, and Michele. Went over there, having a great time. Go ahead and give them an update on what's going on with these FLB shoes in Vegas at the Magic Show as well as Micam. Go ahead, Rob. Okay, by the way, you know what I'm wearing today?
Clean.
Again, let me say this to you guys. I'm wearing my brown ones, okay? Future Looks Bright. Vinny's wearing his black ones, okay? From September 9th, when I tell you from September 9th till today, I've only worn these shoes except for 5 days. That's all I wear. 5 days, okay? And I love them. They're so comfortable. Every day, this is all I wear. For some of you guys that are asking questions about shoes, we haven't done a CTA for a couple of weeks because it sells out every time we do them, okay? So if you haven't picked one up for yourself yet, go to the site, take a look at the shoe, compared with all the other shoes, the Berlutis, the Ferragamos, the Xenias, the Guccis. If you want a shoe that has the same, foam, the foam technology in the bottom, like the On Cloud or the Hokas, and then the look of a Xenia with the leather, genuine leather from Tuscany, Italy, and you want to combine the two together for a reasonable price while you can sit in a boardroom and put up your shoe on your knee and it says Future Looks Bright and get the deal done. If you're that kind of a person, go to vtmerch.com, place your order.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.